Hello and welcome to a Nevada Commission on Ethics mini training session. I'm Executive Director Ross Armstrong, and today I'll be walking you through the process of how to file an ethics complaint. The first step is to go to the Nevada Commission on Ethics website, which is ethics.nv.gov. And on the website, there's two places you can go to file a complaint. You can click the File a Complaint link on the front page, or you can go to Forms and find the online ethics complaint form there. So if you click that, it will pull up an ethics complaint form page that looks like this. You'll notice across the top there are 7 different panels of information that will need to be completed in order to successfully submit your complaint. It's important to note that you can only file one complaint per person, and so if you're filing an ethics complaint against multiple people of, let's say, a board or commission, you'll need to submit a separate complaint for each individual so that their cases can be looked at with their individual information. So the first page of the ethics complaint is going to be all the information about the public officer or employee that you believe has violated the ethics law. And you'll have lots of different options. It'll have you start by saying what type of entity it is, whether it's city, county, or state. If there's a city, you select city, it will give you a bunch of different options. In this case, we're going to do a fictional complaint against mayor in Nevada, Winnie the Pooh. And so we're going to say that he is the mayor of 100 Acre Wood City. So you go through, you'll type the information of the public official that you believe has violated ethics law. You'll need the entity that they're a public member of, what their title is, their name, some contact information, including the city, state, and zip code. And then any other information can be helpful to the commission in reaching out to the individual if we need more information from them. So that could be their work email, their phone, some way for us to get a hold of the individual. The second panel, if you hit next, it'll take you then to the page where you are going to select your Nevada Revised Statutes violations. So in this fake complaint that we are using, we're going to say that Winnie the Pooh is taking from his city's reserves of honey as the mayor, and he is consuming that honey for himself. He's providing that honey to a friend, and he is using that honey in his re-election campaign for mayor. And so we'll scroll down the different ethics violations and say, hey, which of these applies to the situation for Winnie the Pooh? And so certainly getting free honey for yourself would be considered an unwarranted privilege. And we're going to say he's giving it to his friend Tigger. He's very close with Tigger. They've been friends for a very long time. And so Tigger is likely someone that Winnie the Pooh has a commitment in a private capacity to. And so although there's kind of two separate issues there, the honey that Pooh is consuming for himself and that he's giving to a close friend, that is all one violation type in NRS 281A 400 subsection 2. So we'll keep scrolling down. In part of our allegations, we know that Winnie the Pooh is having Piglet give him access to the honey, and then he's making Piglet drive the honey to Tigger every week and bottle up the honey for his campaign. And so at that point, he is working to benefit his personal pecuniary interest. At least we think so. We'll let an investigation happen. But we think it's going to benefit his personal pecuniary interest by using the influence of a subordinate, who in this case is Piglet. We'll keep scrolling down. There's a specific rule related to campaigns. There it is, NRS 281A 520. You cannot cause a governmental entity to incur an expense or make an expenditure to support a ballot question or a candidate during an election. And in this case, we're saying he's using the honey for himself. And at the end of this form, it'll tell you who is somebody that the individual has a commitment in a private capacity to. It's a term of art, and so you may want to just check this list to make sure that if they're benefiting somebody other than themselves, are they on this list? So you'll click next, and that will take you to the next panel, which is where you need to provide the details of what happened. So this is where your opportunity to describe the event that occurred. It needs to have enough information so that when we receive it here at the Ethics Commission, we know what other information to check out, and we can take those facts and try to apply it to the ethics law. So here we have our description where 100 Acre Wood City purchases large amounts of honey for the community's emergency honey supply. Mayor the Pooh will often access the honey reserved for himself, usually eating the city's honey every afternoon in his office. So we've got time and place that these things occurred. He also sends his close friend Tigger a jar of honey from the reserves once a week, and he is taking honey from the city's reserves and handing it out at campaign events for his re-election campaign. So there's some pretty good information that at least lets the commission know what happened in this particular circumstance. And so you can type in there as much as possible and with as much detail to let the commission know what's going on. There's a question on the complaint form that says, is the alleged conduct currently pending before any other administrative or judicial body? And if yes, please describe. In this case, we're going to say no. It's not an automatic disqualifier, but it lets us know if there's another entity taking a look at the behavior. The next tab is for witnesses. And so you'll see that there is a set of information that you can have for your witnesses. If you need to add witnesses, let's say you have 50 witnesses to your case, you'll just keep clicking the add new button. And it will provide you a witness box for each one. So in this case, we know Tigger's a witness, right? He's getting the honey once a week. And so we include information so the commission can reach out to that witness during the investigation phase to determine what the story is and a little bit of note about what that witness can contribute to the case. So in this case, we've got Tigger. We know that Piglet is an administrative assistant. He's helping with the jars of the honey and the access. He's probably witnessed the afternoon Pooh getting his afternoon fix of honey, and so he's a witness, certainly for the case. And then we're going to say Eeyore is the campaign manager. Maybe we don't know where Eeyore lives, but we've got an email for him so that the commission can reach out and try to determine where Eeyore is. In the testimony and notes, you might also put some additional information that you didn't put in the description. So for example, for Eeyore, we're specifically calling out that he was there at campaign rallies on June 17th and July 4th, where a lot of the honey was handed out in exchange, we assume, for votes. So then we'll hit next, and that will take us to the evidence. So within the evidence, this is where if you have documentation. So if you're filing a complaint and it's something that happened at a city council meeting, or maybe there are emails involved, you can then attach the actual files. So we'll go to our files and we'll say, okay, we know that we, through a public records request, got a copy of the honey invoice. So we'll say this is the honey invoice. And then we have another document. So we'll add a line and we'll say, okay, we've got photos of Pooh committing ethics violations, and we'll give them a name, Pooh ethics photos. We'll say, okay, so these are our two documents. These are at the bottom. It will show you all the different types of document types the system can accept. So those are now added and will be attached to the email when the commission gets the complaint. And then the last page of the complaint form is your information. So you'll put your last name, your first name, and contact information. A lot of times we might have some questions during the first phase of an ethics case where we might reach out and say, hey, we're having trouble finding this document. Can you give us some information about this particular incident that you're describing? And so having complete contact information for yourself is really important. If you are an employee at the same agency as the individual you're filing a complaint against, you have confidentiality protections. Also, if you can show a reasonable likelihood that disclosure of your identity will subject you to a bona fide threat of physical force or harm, the commission can determine that you're eligible for confidentiality protections. And so if one of those apply, you're going to click that box. And if there is a threat, you're going to describe the threat in that box so we can have a good understanding of what your bona fide threat is. If you've requested confidentiality, you'll also need to let the commission know. If the commission determines you're not eligible for confidentiality, should the complaint be withdrawn, or should it go forward with your information? And then you'll want to click this box that affirms that the complaint is true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief. And then you'll use your mouse to sign the complaint, and you'll submit the complaint. Once you submit the complaint, an email will be sent to the team here at the Nevada Commission on Ethics with the document and all the information you've sent, the documents you've attached, and it will start our first phase of the process, which is just jurisdictional determination, You'll also receive an automated email from the system letting you know that your complaint has been filed. So that is how you file an ethics complaint with the Nevada Commission on Ethics. We do, pursuant to our administrative regulations, if you file a complaint, we will let you know the results, at least of the jurisdictional determination, and keep you up to date as the case progresses. And so the very first step, though, is to file the ethics complaint. As a reminder, you can find it on the forms page of our Commission on Ethics website, or right there on the front page, there's a link to file a complaint and takes you straight to the form. And again, our website is ethics.nv.gov. So thank you for taking some time today to learn how to file a complaint with the Nevada Commission on Ethics. If you have technical questions about how to file a complaint, feel free to reach out. Our email is ncoe@ethics.nv.gov. And we hope you learned some stuff from today's mini video session. Thanks.